So I'm in this booktuber fantasy football league. There's like half booktubers. I know they asked Mike, but Mike is giving up forever.
I retired from fantasy football in like 2008.
Yeah.
It was dominating my life. And I was like, I don't want to do this. Yeah.
So for whatever reason, nobody grabbed Jordan Addison. And it was like the 7th or the 8th round.
Except the police.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, what's up, NFL fans? We are back again for another season preview. It's going to be a little bit more streamlined this year because, we got some more senior members on the panel and they got bedtimes and things like that. But hey, we're not going to hold that against him or the fact that he is one of the Purple People Eaters. Brian, how are you, bro?
I'm doing amazing. I am so psyched to be back to doing this for the second year in a row. We are booktubers, but we are really football fans at heart. And this time of year, yeah, we may find ourselves in front of the TV a little bit more than in front of a book.
That's it. Hey, last year we did this show. We were talking about what is your team going to do with the top 5 pick, and then they won 14 games. So, hey, things are always possible. Just like they're possible for Steeler Nation. Josh, how are you feeling? Is that an Aaron Rodgers jersey? I see an 8.
No, it is not. This is a Hines Ward jersey. We'll see how Rodgers plays before I commit to the jersey. But Steeler Nation, we'll probably go 9-8, make the wild card, and lose the first round. That's kind of our MO. But we'll see how it goes.
It almost feels like it's like a glitch in the matrix at this point. 9-8 wild card loss. They start off the year like 7-1 or something like that. And when you talk about long annual suffers, Brian, it wasn't like the last 2 years that I could probably even want to talk about football with other people because I am a lowly Houston Texans fan. But things are looking up, and we're going to talk about those as well as everything else. So what we're going to do today, we're going to talk about division winners, briefly touch on each division. We're going to pick our wild cards. We're going to pick our conference champions, our Super Bowl champions, our MVP. Our defensive offensive rookie of the year and player of the year. And, of course, what coach is going to get fired first? That's always a fun topic to go through. But let's begin alphabetically here. The AFC East. I really just want to know, is anybody picking anything other than the Buffalo Bills here?
No. No, there's no way. I mean, Miami is a Tua injury away from being like a 5-win team. So, and they're the most likely to challenge. I mean, I don't think New England's ready to make that step, and certainly the Jets aren't going to do anything. So, I mean,
I see a lot of chatter about New England wild card, and I'm like, it's a year too early. I'd be really, really shocked. I think they get. I admit I commend them for doing the right thing, saying, okay, we never wanted Mayo. That was clearly something that we had agreed to. So we did the one and done. They wanted Rabel the whole time. And I think that was beyond obvious. So, hey, at least they did it. People gave the Texans crap when they did this, when they fired Lovie Smith after 1 year because they knew they could get DeMeco Ryans. Who wouldn't do that? So I commend them for doing that. I don't trash them for that, but I think the world likes New England not being good for a while.
I'm of a different opinion here. I mean, I do obviously think the Bills easily win the division, but I actually have the Patriots coming in second in that division.
They're on time. Okay. Ahead of schedule.
And when we get to the playoffs, we'll talk about them a little bit too. I think that the very temporary diminishing of the Patriots is going to be just that. I think they got the right coach in place. I think Josh made an excellent point. Miami is a Tua away, an injury away from
inevitable to
winning 4 or 5 games. And it may not even be him, legitimately not wanting to play. It's just if the medical doctors don't clear him on his first sack or whatever he takes with these concussions that he's prone to, they win when he's in the game. They don't win when he's not in the game. And he's just, I don't know that their line holds him safe enough. And so I'm obviously the Jets are horrible and they're for sure coming in last, but I actually have the Dolphins coming in third in that division. And I think New England may surprise some people that are kind of where Mike might be at, where he sees the path to where they may be going, but not quite there this time around. I don't know. I see
him in the hunt. I could see him in the hunt at the end of the year. I'm not ready to stamp him as just because the AFC is so brutal, but I think Drake May's the guy. I think they invested in the offensive line. I love Trevion Henderson. I wanted the Texans to take him with the first pick in the second round. I wanted Trevion Henderson, and I know Josh being a Buckeyes fan, he's probably like, yeah, why not? Of course, it would have been great. So, yeah, I think they've got some pieces. It's just how fast do they come together. As Drake may have some struggles in his, first full year as the guy, because there's going to be a lot of pressure there. You're in the shadow of Brady. There's going to be a little bit of pressure there. But I think the Bills' goal this year, win as many games. People keep saying, for the Bills, the regular season doesn't matter. It does, because they know they want that playoff game not at Arrowhead Stadium. They want that at home so they can break their hearts of their fans at home. So that's what they want. They want like a 15-2 season, I think, or something like that. But I don't. Yeah, it's hard for me to pick anyone other than them, and I can't blame Mike McDaniel if he can't have his quarterback on the field. But I feel that he's going to end up being quite a hot seat as we do get along here. How about the AFC North? I still claim, Josh, this is the toughest division in football because Browns aside, any one of these teams could make a run. It wouldn't shock you if they end up in the dance, in the game. So I am really always just super, this division could go any direction here. But as the AFC North representative here, I'm going to let you take point on this one. How are you feeling about the division this year, besides bruises?
Yeah, well, I think Baltimore is still the class. I think they're the class of the division, and I think they're the class of the AFC this year. I think they're, in many ways, they were last year, and I don't think they got any worse. It seems like every year I watch the whole draft, and every draft pick, I'm like, dang it, they made another great pick. And it drives me crazy because it's a really well-run organization that I just absolutely hate. And it seems like they just seem to sign the right guys for the right price for the right length of time. I mean, who would have seen this Derrick Henry business last year? So I think they win the division easily. I think the big question is it Pittsburgh or Cincinnati second? I think it's Pittsburgh. I think Cincinnati has like 75% of their payroll in 4 guys, and as good as what's his name, Hutchinson. Is that the guy's name?
The one who hasn't signed yet?
No, they did sign him. They did sign him, but I mean, Cincinnati is a team that I think offensively they're going to rack up a lot of fantasy points every week because their defense is just giving up 35. So I don't see that as a recipe for success for them. And I know everyone's picking them because they got hot at the end of the year, but to kind of, frame this as booktubers, we always say the best authors are the ones that show rather than tell. It's like, hey, Cincinnati, show me. Like, don't tell me you're going to be good. Like, show me you're going to be good because I haven't really seen it yet. So I think Pittsburgh finishes second, Cincinnati third, and then the Bengals, who, until like last week had like 9 quarterbacks in camp. I mean, that franchise has no idea what it's doing. And I swear that
it was a conspiracy not to let Shedeur play against, with talent in front. It was a conspiracy by the coaches because they love Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, because they really want to lose and get fired. I mean, come on, it's a franchise without a rudder. And
Stefanski, 2-time coach of the year, and he's on the hot seat.
Yeah, which is crazy, and he's a good coach. They still have a good defense, but
he'll be unemployed for 5 minutes. I think. I definitely am going Baltimore as well. To me, it's like Baltimore is one of those teams I hate, and it's not because they're sleazebags, not because they're dirty players. It's because they're always good. They're such a well-run organization. They always hit on their draft picks, like you said. Every single time there's a guy falling, they take the chance on him, and he always ends up being an All-Pro. Or the pick where my team has, where they could have got Kyle Hamilton, and instead they draft Kenyon Green, and then Kyle Hamilton might be on a Pro or Hall of Fame career path right now. But, these things always happen. And Houston's never been able to get past Baltimore, so there might be some saltiness there. But I like Cincinnati a lot. You know, I love Burrow. Burrow is my favorite non-Texan player. I love Joe Burrow. He's going to get murdered. And he's going to get murdered because he's going to have to be Superman, because he's going to have to score 148 points a game for this team to win 10 games, because that offense is a sieve, and that's being incredibly nice. But I do think he'll put up video game numbers this year. Him and Jamar Chase, or one of them's winning MVP, one of them's probably Offensive Player of the Year if they make the playoffs. That's how I feel about the Bengals. But and yet the Browns, it's just like, at least after this year, it'll be done with Deshaun. That's where I'm at. But yeah, I think it's going to be Baltimore rather easily. The other teams are just going to kind of beat the crap out of each other. 14, 15 game year wins for Baltimore this year. Right.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on both number 1 and number 4. Ravens easily win the division. Cleveland, hello Cleveland. Back in
familiar territory.
Back into the basement. I'll disagree with Josh on this one. I don't trust Aaron Rodgers. I think that the minute things go south, he's a problem in the locker room. It depends. Mike Tomlin isn't going to suffer a veteran quarterback's moods all that much. I think that locker room is, we'll see what happens if Pittsburgh doesn't get off to a pretty robust start. I think last year at this time, Mike and I were talking about Joe Burrow going on a revenge tour. I think that's this year. I think this is the
we were
year.
A year late. We were a year early. We were
yes. I think this is the year that Joe Burrow goes on his revenge tour. Jamar Chase is incredible. I see them coming in a clear number 2 in this division. And I guess when we talk about playoffs, we'll get to that a little bit. But I don't know.
41 to 38 finishes in Cincinnati this year.
Yeah, I mean, but they have the talent to do that. And I've been a Vikings fan long enough to see, where we had for many years awful defense, but we were putting up 40 points a game. And you can still, defense wins championships. There's no doubt about it, but you can certainly get into the playoffs with a real high-powered offense. And I don't know. I think Tomlin is a phenomenal coach. I was upset when we let him go, because if anybody remembers back in days of yore, Mike Tomlin was our defensive coordinator before Pittsburgh made him that head coaching offer. So I'm a big fan of Mike Tomlin's. I don't know. I think quarterback is a wonky position for them right now. And I think anybody that claims that they know one way or the other how Rodgers is going to do is almost like wishful thinking, because we don't know. I mean, he was on the Jets last year. That doesn't give us any indication if he's done or not. I mean, if he was on a good team last year and he still didn't really perform, then we might say it's time, for Aaron to go into the broadcaster's booth or whatever he's going to do next. But I guess we'll find out, I think, in the first third of the season where that team's at based on how Rodgers plays.
I'm hesitant on Pittsburgh for one reason. Last year I said they only need Aaron Rodgers to be decent for the Jets to have a good team, and he wasn't at least decent. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant on it. I believe it's Brady having that success post 40 has everybody believing that people can do it. It's like, it's very, very rare. That 1 year that Favre in Minnesota, and then he was terrible the year after that, sorry, Brian, not for the paper cup with the lemon juice on it there.
That's okay. I'm just saying,
it's very rare over 40 that these guys are still performing at that clip. I think that Pittsburgh's defense is always going to be good enough that you just got to score 20 points and you could probably win.
Yeah.
And they know how to play some sludgy football, but
the Bengals are going to be in 41-38 games every week. Steelers are going to be in 17-14 games every week.
9-6. Yeah. That's good stuff. Okay, so that seems pretty cut and dry on the AFC North. We like the Bengals offense, and that's about it. And then it's Baltimore. Baltimore pretty much the rest of the way. AFC South. This is maybe the weakest division in football, and I'm not mad about it. I am not mad about it at all, because I think in this division, 9 win gets you in. And it just seems like every year the Texans keep winning 10 games, so they're good. They're golden. This is the year I'd like to see the Texans maybe win 12, 13, not have to go to Arrowhead, not have to go to Buffalo, not have to go to Baltimore. Maybe you'll have a shot at one of these games if you're not always playing in 12-degree weather against teams that are clearly better than you. I think that would give them a better shot. So I think this year, stop losing games to the Titans. Stop losing games to the Panthers. Stop losing these games. The Jets, they lost to the Jets twice. Twice. Once with Aaron Rodgers, once with Zach Wilson. They've lost to the Jets twice into the D'Amico era. So it's like, stop losing games like that. Yeah, they'll win a game you never expected, then they'll drop one. I think all of our teams do that. That's just the way the game goes. But I think that's their goal this year. But I still think, as bad as the offensive line performed for Houston last year, they still won 10 games. They still won the division easily. They're going to go 5-1, 6-0 in their division. They're pretty much about as locked as I can think for any division title out there. I might eat these words. Obviously, people are like, well, CJ gets hurt. Well, I mean, if anybody's starting quarterback gets hurt, your season's pretty much kaput.
Yeah.
For the most part. I mean, unless you're like, the Patriots, 25 years ago. That's just the way the game goes. So I don't see anyone even coming close to Houston. Do you guys agree? You don't have to be nice. Please tell me that I should be scared.
No, I agree. The division's weak, but Houston's easily the class of division. I mean, you would think Indy is supposed to be the second best team, and Daniel Jones is their starting quarterback now. I mean, that doesn't bode well.
He's on the hot seat, and he made that call. Can you believe making that call when you're on the hot seat? Oh my God. At least you can say with Anthony Richardson, well, we're developing a guy. You may be drafting
we're gonna talk later in the show about most likely to get fired. And for me, it was like the Tennessee coach or the Indianapolis coach. So I think both of those guys could be gone real soon, because I think both of those. And I'll be honest, I can't remember a single thing that Carolina did in the offseason that made me think, oh, they might be improving. Jacksonville. Sorry. Yeah, I don't see anything that tells me they're going to be better either. So, I mean, it's got to be Houston.
I just don't think Trevor Lawrence is good. I just don't think he is. So I've seen him enough now to say that, like, even that guy's best stretch of his career. I mean, it's little bubble screen passes and guys are breaking shit for 70 yards. He's got no vision. He has amazing. Brian Thomas Jr. is awesome. Calvin Ridley's awesome. It's just like it's always about potential with that guy. He's very much Justin Herbert, where everybody always picks him because they think, well, this guy was so hyped coming out of college. His potential. Like, how long have we been hearing about Justin Herbert's potential? And he's always ranked as a top 10 quarterback because of it. Same with Trevor Lawrence, because he was the prince who was promised by that idiot Nick Wright, who, by the way, did pick Jacksonville to win the division this year. So I think it feels like it's that. It's just because they don't want to admit, yeah, this guy was supposed to be the next generational talent, and he wasn't. He really, really wasn't. And it happens a lot. Brian's going to pick the Jags. Here we go.
No. I mean, obviously, Houston is as Josh said, the class of the division. I differ from Mike on their division record, though. I think they're more likely to be something like a 4-2, only because the divisions, even as weak as it is, and I agree that it is the weakest division in the league, teams get fired up to play division
rivalry games are a crapshoot. They are, and it's entirely. I mean, but I do think that they go ahead and win a lot of games that, well, not anymore. Now they will be favored to win, most of the games that they're playing. But I do agree with Mike that they will pull out some games that are competitive and have difficult opponents. But a couple of these in division games, I think. It's just by the, on any given Sunday kind of a thing that they'll probably drop a couple. That said, I think they easily win the division. I have the Colts coming in last. I don't think that I watched that. Well, I saw over the Titans, man.
Right. Yeah, I think
Cam Ward, huh? Okay.
I think the Daniel Jones era. I mean, he was all right here, but he didn't play that much, and he was kind of surrounded
he held
by
that clipboard really good, though. Didn't
he? I mean, he was great in the quarterback room. That's what I hear is that he is a force for good in the locker room, but now he's got to perform. I got Tennessee coming in the third place. Of course, that puts Jacksonville in second. And I don't know, for some reason, I think Trevor Lawrence might surprise us a little bit this year. And I think this is a guy that if it's gonna happen for him, I think it's probably this year, because is this his fourth year? Is this his fourth year, third year, fourth year? I think.
Yeah, he's already got an extension, so I think it's his fifth. It'll be going into.
Is it his fifth? I mean, this is it, right? Wow. I mean, let's see if he is everything that we all thought he was going to, or at least I thought he was going to be coming out of college. I think this is their time to shine, at least they got 2 games against Tennessee. They got 2 games against Indy. Maybe they beat Houston once. They certainly don't beat them twice. But yeah, I think that's as far as they go. I don't see a playoff team out of that division other than Houston. So
I think Houston's defense is good enough to where, I mean, last year there were so many games where offense just can't do anything. 3 and out. Like they went to this clip for a while where they didn't score a second half touchdown for like 6 games or something. And they were still winning because their defense was just strangling everybody. Like Josh Allen's worst QBR ever in a game was against the defense from the Texans defense last year. So you knew when they hired ℚ𝕒𝕟𝕠𝕟, their defense was going to be good. Now it's just like, obviously I'm terrified about the offensive line because
why didn't they
last year?
I don't know.
We're bringing back 4 new starters. So I'm scared.
I don't know why they didn't improve that. That was clearly their glaring weakness.
Did they do anything with Cam Robinson or not? Or did they let him go?
He's the most expensive swing tackle in the league right now, $13 million. Because the rookie beat him out. Rookie beat him out in camp. From your college, Minnesota. I know you love you to Minnesota, right? So,
we do. And our third string quarterback on the Vikings is Minnesota's quarterback, who is basically a walk-on. So, yeah, he made the team. So, Brosner.
So, I feel like the defense is Super Bowl good. It's like I would really feel awful because next year, like the good news is they hit on C.J. Stroud, they hit on Will Anderson Jr. The bad news is they've got to pay both of them at the 2 maybe most expensive positions in football next year. This is the last year you're going to have a roster that's stacked because next year it's going to be a lot of undrafted free agents starting probably for you because your salary cap is going to be in hell. You're going to be paying C.J. Stroud $70 million a year. It's going to be tough. So this is the year I say, hey, make some noise. So hopefully that Scotch tape and bubble gum will hold up that offensive line as we head to everyone's favorite division, the AFC West. Is anybody ready to pick against the Chiefs bullshit yet, or is it still third? I mean, are you drinking the Denver Kool-Aid? I know there's a lot of people out there who pick Denver's their sleeper Super Bowl pick. I'm not quite there yet. To me, it's hard to pick against Kansas City because what I say last year, until they prove to me that they don't get there with maybe a little bit, not cheating, but maybe a little bit of massaging, then, hey, Armin ain't here, so I can talk all about the preferential treatment that the Chiefs do get.
Is it true that they're using the computer AI for the first downs for every team except for the Kansas City Chiefs this year?
that would be something. By the way, what are the chain gang guys? What are they doing? Are they just standing there, just like looking good with it, or just taking pictures, sitting there taking selfies for Instagram? What are they doing?
I don't know.
That's got to be the best job in the league right now. It's like I only have to come out like when they need some drama on TV. That's the only time I got to come out now. That's great. That's great.
So I'm not picking against the Chiefs, but I don't think they're going to be as good as last year.
Me neither. They're not 15-2. They weren't 15-2 good last year.
Yeah, I think they're more like a 12-win team. They'll still win the division, but I don't see them getting back to the Super Bowl this year. I don't think there's going to be. Usually, I like to predict a very good team that has a big fall off, and I nailed it last year. I said the 49ers would fall off. I almost thought that with the Chiefs, but I think with Reed and just simply Reed and Mahomes, there's too much pedigree there. They're going to fall off a little, but they're still going to be good. But this division's tough. I mean, yeah, Denver is kind of one of the sexy picks, at least the sexy pick in the AFC. I guess
Raiders finally got a competent coach. Yeah.
But I mean, Chargers, maybe. They're another one. It's hard to predict. I mean, they seem like
potential.
Right. But I mean, Harbaugh seems high on him, but who knows? I mean, who knows how much that's just raw Harbaugh, or if he's like really high on him. I don't know.
He might be able to find advantage.
I think probably we would agree the Raiders are probably the least of the 4, but I think they've done better. I mean, they got Pete Carroll now, so they got a great coach. I love the running back they drafted.
Genty. Yeah.
Genty.
He's going to eat there.
So I think this is a very good division. But I still think it's Kansas City, but I think it's going to be a lot closer for sure.
Yep, I agree. Kansas City easily number 1 in the division. The Raiders number 4, sadly. But again, they've got a Hall of Fame coach. So we'll see. And I do like that draft pick as well. I'm going to go a little bit weird here. And coming in third, I have the Denver Broncos. I think they've got a top 2 or 3 defense in the league, which keeps them in a lot of games. Yeah. I hate their head coach. I don't know if it's just personal that I can't stand the guy.
He's not likable.
And even though Bo Nix had a great year last year, I'm still not totally sold on the Bo Nix experience. So I don't know. I actually see Jim Harbaugh's Chargers outdoing them and coming in second place in that division. I think Herbert's serviceable for sure. I think I like the coach better, both in terms of personality and coaching ability. So I've got an unpopular pick that Denver doesn't make the playoffs and Denver comes in third in the division.
Well, and I'm glad to somebody not playing just by the safe picks here. I like that. So
yeah. Well, I could be deadly wrong. I mean, they could come out and give the Chiefs a run for their money, but
I feel like the Chiefs are at that stage that the Patriots were when they ended up winning 2 more Super Bowls, when everybody kept saying, no, it's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. It's coming to an end. And they just beat the Rams in the Super Bowl like 6-3 or whatever the hell that game was. It was like really boring. It's like they really won again. Look at that. They found themselves. Look at that. They won another one. That's kind of how I feel about the Chiefs. Every year we're going to keep talking about, well, it looks like it's over. Yet their defense is going to keep humming. And Mahomes is really good at football, and they're going to do just enough. They win the close games. Whether if you want to say it's interference or whatever, they win the close games, and you can't teach that. And so that's why it's hard for me to pick against them. I'm not ready to say they're going to go on that second dynasty run right now. I'm just saying that's what it makes me think of. Was every year we kept saying Brady, the Patriots, it's on this downward spiral. They're going to have good regular seasons, but that's it. And then they reel off a couple more Super Bowls just in the twilight.
Yeah, I mean, winning is a habit, I think is the saying, and they are habitual winners in Kansas City, even with a little bit of massaging. But yeah, I think until we see otherwise, it'd be nuts to pick anybody.
Well, what do you think about Taylor Swift getting a ring before Lamar and Josh Allen?
Or the Cowboys.
It's her team, baby.
AFC Wild Cards now don't have to be 5, 6, 7. Just pick 3 teams you think will make it. We've already loosely done it a couple times. First wild card. We'll do first wild card around the horn. I got the Denver Broncos. Josh, you got
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Brian?
The Cincinnati Bengals.
I like it. Okay. Because my second wild card pick, Cincinnati Bengals. Josh?
Denver.
Okay, so we're working on the same thing here, Brian?
The Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, I still call them San Diego. Yeah. And lastly, I think Josh is going to like this here. Pittsburgh Steelers. I think we've got the same picks if you've got the Broncos.
I'm picking the Chargers, so I think we had the same 3. Yeah, we had the same 3, just different order.
No, Brian had Chargers. I have Broncos, Bengals, Steelers. Sorry, I made this very confusing. Broncos, Bengals, Steelers. You got?
I got Broncos, Chargers, Steelers, whatever order.
Brian.
And I'm going off the board, and like I said, the Bengals, the Chargers, and I'm going to throw it back to New England Patriots. Return to the playoffs this year as a wild card and a one and done, but they will make the playoffs.
Dude, that'll make Chiefs fans so happy because it'll be like people start hating on New England again. No, that's great because it's always hard. There's always a team. It's like every single year there's a team that goes like in the old way. It used to be one team was 6-10, then it'd be 10-6 the next year. It's like it's a turnaround. A 1 year turnaround actually can happen quite frequently in the NFL. But I'm looking around the AFC. I'm like, it's just so tough.
Yeah,
to pick that team because there's some good teams that we talked about that we don't have making the playoffs. So I think 10 wins is the bar this year. You got to get 10 wins, and you might not get in with 10 wins.
Very true.
Could be tough for us.
All right,
we'll go 9-8.
Yeah, 9-8, baby. NFC East. Okay, the NFC East. Defending champs. Philadelphia, the Washington Redskins, whatever they call themselves now. They're knocking on the door, so to speak. Jaden Daniels' incredible rookie season reminds me a lot of the Texans turnaround that they had with C.J. Stroud's first year. So very, very impressive stuff. Cowboys. They're going to cowboy, and I think with that Cowboys documentary coming out the same time that Jerry does something completely batshit like he does with Micah Parsons, it just makes so much sense. It's like, were you guys doing? Were you trying to make Jerry likable or something before this happened? Because that's what it seemed like to me. And then you have the other team in that division, the New York, sometimes football giants, and it's going to be an interesting division. To me, it's hard to pick against Philly. I think they've got the best roster in football. Like overall, the best roster in football. And I don't see that their offensive line is going to be any worse. They lost some free agents to defense, and on defensive side of the ball, offense is still going to be great. They still got some dude named Saquon. As long as he's healthy, I don't see this team losing less than 12 games this year, and easy division winners for me. You get to play the Cowboys and the Giants 4 times. There, you're probably not going to split those, Brian.
I mean, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to just exactly say what Mike just said, in that, they're going to play Dallas and the Giants twice. So there's 4 games right there. But they've done nothing to make themselves worse, probably only to make themselves better. I've got Eagles easily winning the division. I've got the Giants, the lowly Giants, who
Jackson Dart time by week 3.
If we're talking about coaches on the hot seat, could be on the hot seat very, very quickly. I've actually got the Cowboys coming in 3rd, and that's not unexpected because the Commanders are improved and they continuously improve. And I'm impressed by what that organization has done since the worst owner in football has been excommunicated.
I think it's clear what the problem was there. Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? An ownership issue, because it didn't take them very long once the schneid was off the schneid to do something. So that's what I got. I got Eagles.
Fans, it can change. It can.
Yeah, right.
That's
what I will cheer for the Cowboys. If Jerry Jones sold the team and it was somebody else, I would cheer for them just to make him look even worse. Living in Dallas for 15 years and dealing with Dallas Cowboys fans who are the most bipolar people on the planet, I just can't even with them. No, because they would win one game and it was, it's a Super Bowl, and then they would lose one game like, we need to fire everybody. It's like, come on, guys, you've been mediocre for 30 years. Like you're an average team. Just deal with it.
Well, Brian, I'm deciding if I want to let you rant in this section, or will we wait to your division and talk about how they traded maybe the best defensive end in football to a team within your division. And I know that's going to make you feel great.
It's awful. I mean, it's, it's, we'll talk about that when we get to the NFC North, but I mean, what are they? I guess they're rebuilding. I mean, I don't know. I mean, not only is he just such a phenomenal talent, but a locker room guy, the whole deal. And there really wasn't I don't get it, really. I don't get it. Good for the Pack.
Jerry likes to do things old school, and David ℂ𝕒𝕒𝕠𝕟 is his agent, and he doesn't like the bullshit with agents, and ℂ𝕒𝕒𝕠𝕟 is getting guys paid. And what ℂ𝕒𝕒𝕒𝕟 is doing is basically, if you don't get paid what you want, then just demand a request a trade. And that's just kind of the way he operates. So I think Jerry was just trying to get ahead of that. And I get where he's coming from, but it looks awful. You know, he got 2 first-round picks. That's good, but Green Bay's not going to be in the 20s with those picks. You know?
Minnesota gave, I don't know how many Super Bowls to Jerry Jones in the 90s with that Herschel Walker debacle.
And that's the thing. Every trade he makes, he brings up, well, everybody did this when I traded Herschel Walker. I'm like, well, it was 35 years ago, man.
Yeah.
Which they turned around and drafted Troy Aikman with our picks. So, oops.
I've heard of him. Do you guys think that Jaden Daniels has a step back this year, or is he going to keep ascending, or about the same?
I think he'll take a step back, but not much. I think I think people know about him now. I think the first half of the year, he was still under the radar. But I still look at him and I look at Caleb Williams and think, how did the Bears miss? You know,
that's what the Bears do. Well, Caleb Williams was the anointed one since he was like 13 years old, you know? So.
But I mean, Jaden Daniels walks in and has this incredible season and looks like could be a generational type of quarterback, and Washington's set for years, and the Bears are still wondering well, are we going to have to draft another quarterback next year? You know, so not that we're talking about the Bears, but Philly clearly class of this division. I mean, I like that they are. I mean, besides Barkley, they're not like a flashy team. They're just freaking good. I mean, Jalen Hurts is way underrated. I marvel at the Super Bowl.
Top 5 at their position players. You know, that's what they have. A roster full of that.
Yeah, and I marvel at their defensive line in the Super Bowl. They're rushing 4 and just dominating. I mean, when you win the battle in the trenches there, you're just going to win a lot of football games. So I don't see anybody coming close to Philly in the East.
I'm with you.
I agree. And to answer your question about the Washington quarterback stepping forward or back. I don't have it in front of me, but do either of you happen to know which AFC division that the NFC East plays this year? Because I think that might have something to do with it. If they play a weaker division, then he probably steps up. If they play one of the more robust divisions, same or worse.
Well, where he lucked out is, or where Washington lucked out, is that they're not drawing a first place schedule,
right?
So that they the schedule is still kind of middle of the pack. So that helps. See, CJ Stroud went from worst schedule to first place schedule, and it was like, oh shit! And all of a sudden, my offensive line quit on me. I don't think that's going to happen with Washington. I don't think the offensive line is going to quit on. But I will say, look forward to those false starts from Larry Tunsil, about 2 a game. You guys look forward to that.
Looks like
I had so many Redskins fans telling me I was coping with the fact they traded Larry Tunsil. I was like, I would have traded him for less, and I would have drove him to Washington in a beat up Toyota Camry. Okay, and I would have paid both ways to get him out of my city. That's how I felt about Larry Tunsil. So anyway, not that I'm salty or anything. Sorry, so many 3rd and 28s because of that guy. Like 5 touchdowns called back last year. Yeah, it's sad shit. So no, I don't think that Jaden steps back, but I also don't think he's top 5 quarterback like everybody's putting him right now. I think there is going to be a tiny bit of regression as the league adjusts. Same with Bo Nix. All second-year quarterbacks have a tiny step back. Doesn't mean that you had a sophomore slump. Just means that first year you can sneak up on people.
Yeah.
People are game planning for you now. It could be a little different, but I still think Washington's going to be very good. Second place, but Philly has this division locked with 3 games to go.
Yeah.
Easily.
Okie dokie, the NFC North. Brian, take it away.
All right. Well, the Bears are who we thought they were, and they're coming in last place in the division. I forget this new quarterback. It's still the Bears. Caleb, we'll see. They're better than they were last year, I think. I think they actually will probably come out to play Monday night, opening week against my Minnesota Vikings in Chicago. But this division is too tough. We talked about, I can't remember which one you thought was the best division in football. Maybe it was the AFC North.
Yeah,
but the NFC North is giving it a run for its money. All these teams can win on any given day for sure. Chicago is better than they were last year, but they're still coming in 4th. Now, here's my hottest take of the day, probably, and I actually took some notes as to why.
Well, I got you here.
My 3rd place team in the NFC North are the Detroit Lions.
Oh, shit.
And here's why. Their schedule is a beast. They open in Green Bay. They play the Ravens this year. They are at Cincinnati. They are at Kansas City. They play the Buccaneers. They're at the Commanders. They're at Philadelphia, and they're at the Rams. That is a monster of a schedule.
It'll be no 15-1 start, I'll tell you that. Yeah.
And in a division that is this difficult, where no game against the Vikings, the Bears, or the Pack is guaranteed for any team in that division, that schedule that they have outside the division is insane. And the fact that so many of those games are on the road against teams we've just talked about being incredible teams, that's just my hot take of the day. I don't see them rolling into all of those other cities and pulling off what they've done in the past against weaker teams. That kind of gets us to that first place schedule that you were talking about a minute ago, Mike. Now, my 2nd place team, I hate doing it. And I know I'm being a homer about this, but it is the Vikings. And every pundit thinks the Vikings are for sure coming in dead last. You guys are probably going to agree with them because that's where the smart money is. That's where the smart money is. But even though the Vikings have the same, divisional schedule as the Lions, where we play makes all the difference. We're home against Philadelphia. We're home against the Ravens. We're home against the Commanders. And our road games are lighter. It's Seattle, it's the Cowboys, it's the Giants. So schedule-wise, the schedule favors the Vikings a whole lot more. Now, of course, big elephant in the room is, what is J.J. McCarthy going to do? if he can be serviceable, if KOC is in fact a quarterback whisperer, and he can take a Sam Darnold and turn him into a 14-game winner, we don't know what McCarthy's going to do. All the word on the street is from everybody that's in the know that watches him, loves him, says great locker room guy, he's got the right brains for this. We're not going to know until the thing starts. I've got them number 2, which means sadly, and I hate saying this is eating me inside. I almost didn't join the stream today because I didn't want to have to say this out loud and on the internet, but my winner of the division just is the terrible, awful, most hated of hated teams. The Pack. I see Green Bay Packers winning this division. They have an easier schedule. They're demonstrably better with one player in Micah Parsons on defense now. I think they've got a great coach. I think they have a significant home field advantage at Lambeau that very few teams outside of Buffalo and a couple others really experience. I think they're better than they were last year, and sad to say, I hate saying it, the Packers win the division. Ugh, God, I hope I'm wrong.
It hurt so bad, Brian.
It did, but that's how you know I'm not entirely a homer, and that I did
you
have.
Almost told me on what you're talking about with Minnesota's schedule. That's pretty fortunate the way that kind of panned out. That's not. You got to play those teams. You want them in your home field.
And US Bank is a loud, difficult stadium to play in.
Yeah, we had 5 false starts in a row there last year. I remember.
Right. So I think and it's very strange because if people are watching this and are unaware, the Vikings have 2 games in Europe back to back. They play Josh's Steelers in Ireland, and then I think they play Cleveland in England the following week. And the Vikings have a gigantic European fan base. So those are almost like 2 home games for the Vikings, because most of the people in the stands will be in purple. They'll be doing the Skol chant. They'll be doing all of that stuff. And those are huge stadiums. So even though we're quote unquote on the road, they almost kind of feel like home games, and they're staying there the whole time. They're not obviously coming back here. They're going to, take the time shift the one time, hang out in Europe for a couple of weeks, hang out in England and Ireland, and come back and play some football in the NFC North. That's my take. I'll turn it over.
So you can go ahead and think that it'll be a home crowd in Ireland, but Steeler Nation is everywhere.
They travel.
We really are. I mean, I figured this out when I lived in Dallas and I went to a Dallas Cowboys game, and Dexter Coakley said at the end of the game that after he run out in the thing and he had to look and see the star that was there because he heard himself getting booed in his home stadium because we were so loud. So we will be the home team in Ireland. But anyway, about the division. The Bears are last, but I see the Vikings third. J.J. McCarthy is going to be the youngest starting quarterback in the league this year, and he's also going to be like the youngest starting quarterback in the history of Monday Night Football, or top 3 or something like that. I mean, he's unproven, so my thing is always show me. It's hard to predict, and maybe I have some bias against him because he was a Michigan quarterback and I'm an Ohio State fan, so there might be some of that there too. But I think they're third, even though they have all that talent. But the Packers are certainly like the sexy Super Bowl pick right now that I see a lot of people, especially once they added Micah Parsons, because he's a game changer on defense, although he's hurt right now. So who knows how that plays in. But I'm still going to pick Detroit Lions to win the division, despite, your points about the road games are certainly really valid. But they also have such an incredible running game that can oftentimes kind of negate some of that, playing on the road. You got Gibbs, you got Montgomery. So I still think the Lions win the division, but I think it would be close, and I would not be shocked if they fall a little bit and Green Bay ends up as the best team. Because I also saw a stat that like Jordan Love is the same age as when Rodgers and Favre both won their first title with Green Bay, and there's everyone thinks this is going to be the year. So we'll see, but I think the Lions still maybe edge out the Packers for the division.
I hate the Packers for never having to worry about a quarterback. They've never been in quarterback purgatory. Was
No.
It like the Don Majkowski days? I mean, it's like, when was the last
I
time
was,
we worried about
I was in college at Madison, Wisconsin when Don Magic Man Majkowski was the quarterback.
Was leading those 5-11 records. Yeah, he was really cooking.
And my Badgers my senior year didn't win a single game. And then I think the following year they won the Rose Bowl. So it was something crazy like that. Yeah.
I'm sticking with the Lions as well. I just think that their top end talent is just too damn good. Really, I think with them, what really is, does Aiden come back healthy from his injury? Because if he does, that'll be a top 10 defense easily. I mean, that's their floor, I think. And I'm not the biggest Jared Goff guy. I think he's just Matt Schaub, really good Matt Schaub. If everything's perfect, he can ball out. But as soon as stuff breaks down, he's got to create. He's trouble, as we saw in that playoff game with Washington. So I'm never really the big believer, but like you said, they're running. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is like maybe the most underrated running back in football. Like, no one talks about him as like a top guy. It's like, did he change that team? And he got like no credit for it. So I got to stick with Detroit there. And I didn't know that Green Bay was a sexy pick, because I thought that was going to be like controversial that I was picking Green Bay in this division. I think it's just because they're all going to beat up on each other, and someone has to take the losses. There's gonna be a lot of close losses. There's gonna be some 9-8s, I think. I think that the Bears are, I like Ben Johnson. We don't know, a lot of the time these guys are great offensive coordinators. Look at Jonathan Gannon. These guys are great offensive coordinators. Wait, Gannon, or was it Steichen? Gannon was the defensive coordinator, right? Anyway, I'm just saying these coordinators always just look like superstars, and then they go be a head coach, and doesn't mean instant success. I don't know that Caleb's the guy. I saw his pocket awareness really shocked me last year, because I picked him to win Rookie of the Year. I thought he was going to be great. I picked their head coach. What was it? Eberflus? I picked him to win Coach of the Year because I thought he would ride the coattails of Caleb. So I was wrong. I was wrong about this. And I don't know that Ben Johnson can fix it. I think he'll make it easier for him. He's not going to – whatever game it was where he got fired because he wouldn't call a timeout. You guys know what I'm talking about? Was it against
that's right. Yeah.
Where he didn't call a timeout, and Caleb Williams doesn't know what to do. I don't think he'll put him in those situations, and that's good. That'll help him. But again, to me, they're like the Patriots of the NFC. They're at least a year away. But, they're making great steps. They've got an amazing offensive line to protect this guy now. They spent a lot of money on it. So let's see what happens. And, yeah, Minnesota, I think that their defense is going to cook. I love Brian Flores. Before we got DeMeco Ryans, that's who I wanted us to coach, and then that whole, lawsuit thing came out. But I wanted him here because I think he's an amazing defensive coordinator. I'm surprised you guys kept him. I thought for sure somebody would steal him.
He got 0 interviews.
That's incredible. It must just still be that lawsuit thing. I guess. I don't know, because I was like, dude, his defense was – he's the only guy I think that has completely cracked the Shanahan offense. No Shanahan offense team can do jack shit against his defense. I think he's figured it out. So I thought that would have got him a head coach job. But their defense is going to be humming. It really just comes down to JJ. I do think there'll be some growing pains there. He was 5 for 7 against the Texans' third stringer, so he's got to be good. And that's what he did in the preseason. He's got to be good. So that's what Twitter told me. He was 5 of 7 against the Texans' third string defense. So
they didn't play him. They didn't even let him play in the third game at all. I think
when you get an ACL tear your rookie season, they probably want to be very careful with you going forward.
Yeah. Well, I also think that they wanted to figure out what they were going to do with their second, third, and fourth quarterbacks, because they had 4 going into camp, and they ended up getting rid of all but the one that I mentioned. And then they bring in Carson Wentz, who may not be a bad backup for us. So we'll see.
No, that's a great backup.
The conference and division realignment, because whatever they're putting in the water in the North is too good, because AFC North, NFC North, it's not even close to me. Those are the best 2 divisions in football. And it's just, it's wild. We need to completely just redraw the lines here and get this, get a lot of those Northern teams all in the same division.
And
remember when Tampa Bay was in the North? I never understood that.
I remember Atlanta being in the NFC West for years. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Good. Well, Indianapolis is in the AFC South.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's wild. So how about the NFC West here? Now, this is one where last year I explicitly remember Josh having the controversial opinion of saying the 49ers were going to fall off. I thought it was crazy. He was right. However, every time Shanahan has a bad year, he has a good bounce back year. So I am picking San Francisco to win this division this year. I know everybody loves the Rams. I love Stafford. They're being very, very weird about Stafford's injury right now. He's like in some kind of time machine bullet right now, hoping they'll get his back better. I don't even know what they're doing. If they've got a time machine, I think it might be catching up with Matthew Stafford, because he took a lot of he took a lot of thumps at Georgia. Okay, I can't believe he's had a career this long already. And that's the type of guy that, like, if he can walk, he's going to play. And I think it's going to be bad against that. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson Jr. that first week, I'm scared for Matthew Stafford. I am. So I hope he doesn't play. And because who's their backup? Is it Jimmy Garoppolo? yeah, Garoppolo. Anyway, so this division, it's like I hear so much about like potential for some of these quarterbacks, stuff like that. I'm interested to see what Darnold does without Kevin O'Connell, because before Kevin O'Connell, he wasn't anything. And I'm wondering if after O'Connell, if he's going to be anything. So I can't really buy high on Seattle's right now. So for me, it just looks like if CMC is finally healthy, I think that's Purdy's good enough for them to win. And the Shanahan offense will find a way to put together points. So I'm going back to San Francisco having a bounce back here.
Yeah, I agree. I think the 49ers do bounce back, and I think they're too talented to be down again. And they had the injury bug as well. But I think the question mark for me is do the Rams stay good enough to at least like be a wild card team? I think they probably do. But I mean, you're right. Thinking about Stafford, I was just watching a Instagram reel of like him as a rookie with the Lions, where he just basically got his collarbone broken on a play, but he went back in and threw a touchdown. I mean, that guy's tough as nails, always has
tough
been.
As shit, man, but it's to his detriment. It really is.
Yeah. So, I mean, at some point he's going to fall off, but I still think, I don't know. I haven't heard much about the Saints. I was looking forward to Armin talking about the Saints. He was talking about their linebacker rotation or something. I mean, Seattle, I don't trust Darnold. He had a great run with you guys, Brian, but I think that was coaching and the fact that he had that incredible wide receiver core to throw the ball to. So, I mean, I think it boils down to 49ers or Rams, and I think 49ers are going to bounce back and be the team again.
Yeah, throwing to Justin Jefferson is probably not the same. He probably doesn't have anything like that.
Nothing like that.
They traded Metcalf to the Steelers, right? So
yep.
Who is wide receiver one in Seattle now? Okay.
That's
why Gino said, "Yeah, I'll go to Vegas."
That's why Gino's out of there. Yeah, I've got Seattle dead last. I like Darnold. I think that he'll bring some of the things that he learned in Minnesota. Minnesota had a horrible offensive line last year, and he still hung in there and made plays and didn't wreck a team, even as good as our receivers are. But he doesn't have that talent around him anymore. And I think they're the clear loser. They're third place in that division. I have the Arizona Cardinals. And it's interesting too, because I've seen a lot of pundits really push pretty high on the Cardinals
every year. This is the year Kyler breaks out. Every year.
Yeah. And I don't know. I guess like Josh said, show me. I don't see it. I do see San Francisco making a breakout year, but as the second place finisher, because I think the Rams will figure out a way to win this whole division again, even with Stafford coming out in, traction with all kinds of whatever metal gear he's got going to keep him propped up. I can't just say that after the season that San Francisco had, that it's just an automatic bounce back to first place for them. I think they make a big push, opposite of last year. I have them in the playoffs. We'll talk about that, but I still see the Rams winning the division.
It's hard to bet against McVay. He finds a way, doesn't he? He's quite good.
Yeah.
Quite good. He's quite good at what he does. Hey, maybe Sam Darnold will go on that Baker Mayfield arc. Baker, pretty good in Cleveland. Then he went to Carolina. He was terrible. I think he got cut from there. He played one game or two for the Rams, and then Tampa Bay was like hey, you can be a camp arm, and now he's considered a top 10 quarterback, not by me, but by a lot of people. So maybe Darnold has that arc. Maybe he soaked up that knowledge from KOC, or he's just going to be sending KOC a gift card for thanks for getting me that $100 million.
I think that's more likely. He's got to play the Niners, the Rams, and the Cardinals twice. I don't see it.
Man, but every year with the Cardinals, every year this is going to be the year. It's going to be the year. It's like, dude, they have so much talent on the offensive side of the ball, and it never works. Either Kyler can't stay healthy, or he will have a play or two that'll make you be like, holy crap, it's amazing. And then he'll be like, who were you throwing to? So I think that guy's just a story of, I don't trust 5'4" quarterbacks. I just don't. That's why I didn't trust Bryce Young. When everybody here wanted Bryce Young, I was like, I need a guy taller than my 13-year-old. I need someone taller than that to play the position. That's Drew Brees is like the exception, not the rule.
Yeah,
have a quarterback under 6 feet tall. So is that the end all be all? Of course not. But with Kyler, I just don't think he ever puts it together. At least not in Arizona. Maybe I think he needs a fresh start somewhere else. I think someone will give it to him. Because their coach is probably getting fired, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. I skipped the NFC South, didn't I? The NFC South, I skipped alphabetically, but it's because it's easy to forget the NFC South, I think, because last year it was very much does anybody want it division?
Mm-hmm.
I think we all picked Atlanta because we thought, Kirko still has something left to say. Before he got that when I watched this year's quarterback season 2, I had no idea that Kirk got hurt because, he's not that type. He's not going to whine about getting hurt. They were humming along until he got hurt, and then he was never the same again. Do you think Kirk still got it, or I think he'd like to go somewhere else, and I just don't think Atlanta wants to trade him because they don't know what Penix Jr. is going to be.
Well, and I think Atlanta, they're a team even though I lived there a couple of years, I love to root against them because I hate seeing organizations that
waste talent,
have no vision. I mean, you pay Kirk Cousins $100 million, and then you sign the quarterback of the future in the first round. So, I mean, even
can't wait to let him play. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those
and tampered tampered, by the way. I mean, they tampered in the league to get him.
I mean, you need to make a decision about where you're going. Like, that's why I always liked my Steelers draft. They would know, like, okay, first round, we can do anything but quarterback or tight end. Best player available. Great. Atlanta's like, I want the shiny thing. I want another shiny thing. So, I don't know
if Kirk had like 1 year guaranteed or something like that. You
whole
want
contract.
That quarterback in the future, of course. I get it, but it's like now you're really paying them
$100 million,
like $40 million. It is front loaded, so they can't get out of it after next year. But it's just like you're really paying them $40 million this year just to say when there are teams right now they'll probably give you a second round pick for him, and they're just like, no, I just don't get it. I think it's malpractice. I think you should let the guy play. He ain't got that many years left. If he wants to play, let him go somewhere and play.
Yeah, I think Atlanta's
going to tell about it.
I think they're a rudderless ship, so I don't know what they're going to. I don't think they know.
I can't wait for them to release him after this year, Brian, and he gets another $100 million contract.
Oh, for sure,
in Minnesota.
Well, the truth is had Atlanta been straight with him like Minnesota was, that hey, we're going to draft a quarterback. Had he not got that big money, he may have just stayed in Minnesota and said, all right, well, I guess I'll see how this rookie does. And I'm ready to go in case he, isn't ready for prime time yet. So yeah, Kirk's going to play somewhere. I think sooner or later, I just don't see him sitting with a clipboard all year. I mean, he's a money guy. Yeah. But I don't know. I think he's a competitor.
I like Penix Jr. a lot. I just think that I understand that they like, well, we don't know. We got to wait and see. So you don't want to trade away a guy like Kirk Cousins. But again, I think you should do right by the player, and you could get out of that salary. You get out of that salary. You get all that bad press about all that money you gave. You get out of it. Saints would probably give you something for him right now because the Saints are going to be fucking awful. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. They might be the number one pick this year. Spencer Rattler is their starting quarterback. You guys
saw that. Like, who is that? And he started a bunch of games last year.
Like a wrestler. Jim Ross would be like, Spencer Rattler making his way to the ring right now. That's what it sounds like. Spencer Rattler. Wow.
I'd never heard of him. He started a bunch of games
after that Ohio State game, I don't know if they're all in for Arch Manning anymore. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
It's one game. Let's see. Ohio State's defense is really good. By the way, congratulations, Josh. That was a very good game. Very good game. I picked Ohio State. I was the only one here. I was public enemy number one for doing that because go Dogs. Anyway, New Orleans is going to be bad. Carolina, not much better. So I think this is Tampa's division already. It's just like they just got to show up. Baker's got like 5 wide receiver ones to throw to now. Like drafting Mecca was just like, that's not even fair. So,
I think both Souths are very similar, the AFC and the NFC South. You got one team that's
good winner and everybody else being out for 9 wins, 8 wins.
Yeah. So Tampa, absolutely. Everybody else is just kind of there.
Unless Baker comes back to earth. Yeah.
No, I agree. The Bucs, a clear number 1. I think the Saints are probably the worst team in football, so they're number 4. Got the Panthers.
Love to see it. As someone who did grow up in Atlanta, Josh, love to see the Saints bad. I don't have a lot of
Yeah.
sports hate anymore, but that's one that never went away. I'm not a Falcons fan or anything
Oh,
anymore.
we hate the Saints. I mean,
I hate the Saints, and that just never went away. So I'd love to see it.
Apart from the hated Pack and the Bears, we probably hate the Saints in Atlanta more than we hate Detroit.
Oh, because of Gary Anderson.
Yeah.
Gary Anderson. Brett Favre throwing across his body. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot.
The Saints,
that game bothers me about as much as it bothers you, because one, because I hate the Saints, and they never win the Super Bowl. Two, it's like Minnesota outgained them by like 500 yards in the game. I think AP fumbled like 5 times or some weird shit, and they still almost won. Yeah, they still should have won. It's I know whatever resentment I have. I know yours is like times a million. But
it is. It will be with me forever. But yeah, number 2, the Atlanta Falcons. Penix, we'll see. I think he'll be fine. But Kirko. He's a winner, and for me at least. I mean, I like the guy. I think he's good in the locker room. I think he's going to be.
Would love to have him right now.
I think that he's going to be really unhappy with a clipboard all year. I don't think that in his brain that's what he signed up for. And I don't suspect he's the kind of guy to be a distraction, but
nice professional. Yeah.
I think he'll, take it on the chin, but I don't think he's going to be too happy being there. I don't think he's looking to be a mentor for Penix Jr. at all. So, but again, it is
but he won't do it like I'm so hyped to do this.
No. I mean, he, in his mind, when he went to Atlanta, he's a starting quarterback for the rest of his career. That's kind of how he planned it. So he certainly didn't think that they were going to draft one. And the other 2 teams are just so bad that, earlier in our broadcast, I suggested that within the division, anybody can win on any given day. I don't think there's a chance the Saints can beat the Bucs ever. And we'll see about Carolina. Maybe they get a lucky fumble, but other than that, Bucs all the way.
All right, that's pretty ridiculous. Okay, so NFC Wild Cards. I think this is going to be probably pretty popular picks here. I got Packers, Redskins, Rams.
Same. Packers, Redskins, Rams. Yeah.
And Brian, I got to tell you, like my nice little theory here. It's going to come down to the final week, and it's going to be between Green Bay and it's going to be between the Vikings for who gets second place and ends up with that last wild card spot. Green Bay is going to get that lucky bounce. Not that y'all are playing each other. It just means, someone has to win, someone has to lose. Green Bay is going to be that team who gets
some help
as the 7th seed because reasons. Yeah, because you're miserable.
So my 3 wild cards are, you guys had the same. Mine are all different. I've got the Commanders. Got the Commanders making it as a wild card.
Oh, well, I said Redskins. That's the Commanders.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah. Old habits die hard.
It's a habit. I still call them the San Diego Chargers too.
Anyway, but I do have 2 that are different. San Francisco 49ers return to the playoffs as a wild card for me. And yes, I am going to be a homer. And I'm going to say the Minnesota Vikings are going to pick up the last wild card spot in the NFC. I just think because of the schedule. I think if they faced Detroit's schedule, we'd be talking about something totally different. But US Bank's hard to play in. And even though we play some really, really good teams this year, they're all home games. Okay. That's what I think. And I got to have them in the playoffs. Otherwise, what am I going to watch football for 17 weeks just to not make the playoffs? Come on, I got to at least go on record saying I have some faith.
I'm a Texans fan. Most of my life is just watching football for other teams that are good.
But I mean, there's a reason I put annual sufferer, because how many seasons can you remember watching football that the Vikings don't make the playoffs? It's very rare. They almost always are in the mix somewhere. They just never do anything, with the exception of a couple of things we just talked about.
I said it last year, said again, that 98 team might be the best team to never win a Super Bowl. There.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Salt in the wound. I'm really, really bad at this. Conference championships. And if you want to run through the playoffs, you can. I got a couple of storylines with mine, though. This is the year in the AFC. This is the year the Bills finally beat the Chiefs. They finally beat the Chiefs in the divisional round. They're in the conference championship. They still find a way to lose to Baltimore, who beat the Texans. Who beat the Texans, who again win on Wild Card Weekend and lose on the divisional round, because that's what we do here. We lose in the divisional round because we will never beat Baltimore if Lamar Jackson is playing. Yes, I have the Baltimore Ravens representing the AFC South. Once again, the AFC conference. And once again, you have Bills fans going home sad because they finally got over the hump and beat Kansas City. And then they lost to Baltimore, because I don't think you can count on someone to drop a touchdown in the end zone again like you got last year. So Bills fans, I'm sorry. This is just your life now. So yes, Lamar finally breaks through. Statistically, it's got to happen. Lamar's got to have that year where it finally just – it's like that when – remember with Steve Young, it was always like, why can't he ever get it done in the playoffs? Why can't get past the Cowboys? And then one year they just happened to do it. They got past the Cowboys and they blew out San Diego in the Super Bowl. I think that's kind of how it's going to go for Baltimore this year. They're finally just something's going to happen, and they're just going to make it, and it's just going to happen. So to me, it's statistically, this guy's a 2-time MVP. He's one of the most electrifying players in football. Derrick Henry's not going to be any worse. Their defense is probably going to be better because that's what they do, because they get great draft picks. Baltimore's for the AFC this year. I think it finally happens. No more James Harden, Lamar Jackson. He finally gets to the big game.
Yeah,
Josh, you got a scenario? Or you just want to just pick one?
I'll give you a scenario
right.
because I see it happening, because it's pretty clear my Steelers got 1 year with Rodgers and we're drafting somebody next year, which means instead of like tanking and getting a high draft pick, we're just going to win more than we normally will. So the Steelers are going to win a playoff game this year.
Oh, congratulations, man.
So that's, but it'll be worse because it'll cost us more to trade up.
Welcome to the divisional round purgatory with me.
But I think we're actually going to win a playoff game this year. But I think Baltimore is the class of the AFC. I mean, to give another maybe prediction, I'll say that KC doesn't win a playoff game this year.
Oh,
maybe they go out first in the wild card round. But I think it's Baltimore's year finally. So I think we definitely agree on that one. But I think my Steelers, just because it'll make it tough in the drafts, we're going to win a game and have to trade even a few more spots.
Maybe they can trade for Kirk Cousins.
There you go. ℚ𝕚𝕤𝕠𝕟𝕟𝕚𝕠.
Kirk would be good there.
He's who I wanted 2 years ago, but we couldn't pay him like Atlanta did. Yeah.
Okay, Brian, hit us with the storyline.
Well, I think I'm taking a page right out of your book, because I totally agree with you. It's the Ravens and the Bills going head to head. And I agree that it is the time for the Ravens to appear in the Super Bowl after beating the Buffalo Bills. I do think Kansas City wins a playoff game, but I don't think they're in the championship game. I'm going Ravens. That's the storyline for the AFC for me. It's a pretty straightforward one. I just think that they're just a class above everybody from the top down, organization and everything down. I have no real reason to pick against them.
I think Baltimore's gonna be like historically good this year, like a 15-win team that just like breaks records. They're just loaded, man.
So in that fantasy football league that I was talking about, it got to the third round, and I had drafted a couple of running backs in rounds 1 and 2. I had the third pick overall. So as it snaked back around to me in the third round, I was like, you know what? No quarterback's been taken yet. Let me take Lamar Jackson. So
I don't know why people don't take quarterback. They're like, oh, don't take a quarterback early. It's like, except Lamar, because he's gonna get you the passing and the rushing yards.
That's exactly what my
maybe
thought
that's why
was.
I don't play anymore.
Yeah, that's what my thought was. So I'm sort of, I have a vested interest in Lamar this year.
All right, NFC, here we go. I think we see some big upsets early. Some big upsets, some things where some balls bounce around. And this is going to be one of those years where it's completely shocking that a wild card team just keeps finding a way, Brian. And the Green Bay Packers find themselves in a freaking Super Bowl. And I call Brian to ask if he's okay. And he's like,
he won't be okay.
What's football? Are you talking about soccer?
Okay.
What are you talking about?
He won't be okay. No, he'll be thinking about Major League Baseball, spring training. Are you talking about the Minnesota Wild hockey team?
Like I said, I honestly, guys, I had this planned out before the Micah Parsons trade. So I'm not just like reacting. I just had this thing where I was like, I just have this feeling that this year it's clear cut to me. Baltimore's not going to be upset, but it just seems like the NFC is just so open to where a fumble here, a botched punt there, and one of those things where the scrappy wild card team that was fighting for their lives to get in, just get hot and stay hot. And to me, that Green Bay seems like that type of team. So I think it would be kind of a disappointment, if they're having to scrap to get into the playoffs. But, with a team like that, they can get in and make some noise. And I don't know. That's where the winds were taking me. Baltimore, Green Bay, and I'll let you guys pick before I talk about the Super Bowl.
Josh? I'm going to go boring in the NFC and just say that Eagles. No storylines. Just Eagles are just too solid not
it's
to.
So hard to repeat. That's why I couldn't pick them again.
Yeah.
Unless you can't, but yeah.
But I just think they're too talented. So I'm going Philly. No storyline.
My only storyline is I agree with Josh. It is the Eagles, and I sadly agree with Mike that I think it's going to be the Eagles versus the Pack in the division championship. I hate saying it. Like a piece of me dies every time I do it. But I think if the Pack does what I predicted that they will do, they are good enough to play in that game. I don't necessarily see them beating the Eagles. I have the Eagles making it to the Super Bowl, but again, so we'll see. I could be dead wrong. Packers might not. Maybe the Packers lose the division. I don't know, but that's what I'm sticking with for now is Eagles. Fly high.
That was crazy with the Packers. All right. But I didn't know they were a sexy pick until Josh brought it up. So now I'm just like, man, I thought I was going off on a limb here. Okay. Because everybody seemed like everybody's picking the Eagles or the Lions, So Lions are like the Bills. They're forever going to suffer, guys. Sorry. They didn't win that game against San Francisco 2 years ago. I said that was their chance. That was it. That was their chance.
Dan Campbell, what were you thinking?
All right, so Super Bowl winner. I don't think it's going to be particularly close, maybe a little bit late, but I got Baltimore by 10 in the big game, like 31-21 kind of game over the Pack.
Yeah, I got Baltimore.
Cheeseheads are crying, Brian, and you are excited. You are excited.
Yeah,
I'm scenario.
I mean, let's let them pick, second to last in the draft every year. If we're not gonna, win it, let them, fall to the basement of the draft. But no, I agree with you. I think this is Ravens' year. I think it's going to be against the Eagles. I think they pull it out. Lamar is the man.
Josh, we going for a trifecta here?
We are. Yeah. So as much as I hate it, I mean, I hate the Ravens as much as any franchise. Maybe the Browns a little bit more, but the Browns are so bad you almost feel sorry for them. But yeah, I loathe the Ravens, but I think they're the class of the league this year. So barring injuries, I don't see how they don't end up as Super Bowl champs this year.
Hey, remember that playoff game when the Browns got up 28-0 on the Steelers in the first quarter? That was wild, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
Oh man. Yeah, I didn't remember it until you brought it up. I was like, I think I've memory hold that. And then I went back and I was like, oh, because it was the COVID year, wasn't it? Yeah. That's why I just kind of wiped that year from my memory. Okay, so we've all picked the Ravens this year. So if you're a Ravens fan, congratulations on being preseason champions. That's always exciting. I think Ravens fans really are at the point now where anything short of a Super Bowl appearance at least feels like a loss. Whereas I feel like Bills, they're past that. A Super Bowl appearance is going to make them happy. They're a Super Bowl win or it's a failure. That's where the difference between those two fan bases I feel like are right now. So though I think they're the clear-cut favorites, 1A, 1B to me. I just can't pick the Bills to ever get over that hump, just like I can't pick the Lions to ever do it. It's just they're cursed, man. They're just cursed franchise. I feel bad for their fans. But look, at least the Bills won't do it in a heartbreaking fashion. They'll get beat soundly there.
Gone are the Scott Norwood years.
All right, MVP. I don't think that anyone's going to be shocked who I'm going to pick. As long as Cincinnati makes the playoffs, Joe Cool is going to be your MVP this year. And it's kind of like the year that Leonardo DiCaprio finally won the Oscar. He didn't necessarily win it for The Revenant. He kind of won it for his body of work as a whole because he was the MVP last year, but they didn't make the playoffs. So, yeah, I think this year, even if it's not as good a year as last year, which I think it will be, Joe Burrow, if they're in, they win 10 and they're in to the playoffs, I think he will be league MVP this year. Brian, you sticking with Joe or you got somebody different?
Nope, I'm going with Lamar this year. Okay. I think Lamar all the way. He's on my team. I have to root for my team. I was burned last year by the Joe Burrow revenge tour, although I do think it will happen this year. But I think Lamar's still going to take it.
Has anybody else ever won 3 MVP awards? This would be Lamar's 3rd MVP, wouldn't it?
Well, what about Aaron Rodgers? Or maybe?
Yeah, I'm sure Aaron's done it. Yeah, Aaron's going to do it again this year, right, Josh? Aaron? MVP?
No. We don't have a wide receiver too. We got like 7 tight ends though, so I mean maybe that's our game plan.
So we got Burrow, Lamar, and Josh has
Lamar.
Okay, all right. Okay. No argument. Okay.
Yeah.
How about defensive player of the year, guys? I'm not changing from last year. TJ Watt. I think the guy's maniacal. I wanted to pick Aiden. I got to wait and see how he returns to that injury because I feel like he's right there. I really like Will Anderson Jr. with the Texans. Don't feel like because he's got Danielle Hunter on the other side of him. I don't feel like he's going to rack up 20 sacks. So I think they're going to split those. So I say you're going to have 20 sacks probably to be considered defensive end to be defensive player of the year. I think TJ will get that this year. So that was my pick last year too. So I know I'm really being boring here, but Josh, you got to like that pick, right?
Yeah, I never pick against TJ, especially because I think our defense is even better this year. So they're going to be able to move him around a little bit, be a little less predictable about where they play him, like what side, and whether he's always blitzing or not. So I think he's going to have a monster year. The Steelers defense could be pretty special this year.
I'm going to go with Micah Parsons. I think he's in a sane organization. And as good as he is, we've not seen him be in a sane organization before. And I think the guy's ready to play. I think this is exactly what he wanted. And I think he's going to get what he's going to get. I don't like it. I wish when that trade happened, I was very upset, but that's who I think is going to stand out for me this year on defense. We'll see.
Using those mathematics, if Myles Garrett went to a sane organization, would he have like 50 sacks in a season? Yeah, if he left the Browns,
yeah,
he went to a sane organization. Okay, all right, good to know. No, Myles Garrett's going to be like, remember Myles Garrett? Done with Cleveland. I went out of here so bad, and then he gets paid. He's like, oh, no, this is where I wanted to be the whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. Okay, how about offensive player of the year for the first time in memory that I cannot remember it going to a quarterback? I'm going Jamar Chase. So it's going to be like this. Whichever one doesn't win MVP, the other one's going to the offensive player of the year. So either Jamar Chase is going to break records and win MVP, or he's going to be offensive player of the year. That's what I think.
So I'm picking a non-quarterback as well, but I'm picking Saquon Barkley.
Picked him last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I was kind of between Saquon and Bijan in Atlanta, but I got to go with Saquon. I think that everything around him is way too good.
And that offensive line is just amazing.
Yeah.
You only have to be like good to be a good running back there. When you got the talent that he has, yeah.
This year, I want to see him do a back handspring over a safety to get into the end zone.
Yeah, you want to really impress me, Saquon? Come on.
Yeah, back handspring over the safety and cover 2. Let's go.
I don't know how much you guys have paid attention to rookies. So I sent you the odds bar before this, and hopefully you just take a stab at it so we can go back and look at this. For me, defensive rookie of the year, Mike Green, Ravens, just because why not? It's the Ravens, a guy that just kept sliding down the board, and you're like, he's going to Baltimore, isn't he? And, of course, Baltimore gets him. And, of course, he'll be an all-pro as a rookie or some crazy shit. And, yeah, he'll be great. So I got Mike Green from the Ravens, defensive rookie of the year.
I forgot to write his name down. The guy from the Giants, the defensive lineman.
Abdul Carter.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. I liked that pick. I remember him from the draft. And that just seemed like a great pick from them. And it's usually, for me, defensive player of the year, it's either someone that gets a lot of picks or just ends up with a lot of sacks, and he may end up be that. So, because, I mean, Giants offense is not going to be on the field very long, so that defense is going to be playing a lot. So he's going to have a lot of opportunities to sack the quarterback, I think.
I have to pass on this one because I barely ever pay attention to rookies. It's so hard to start as a rookie these days.
You're Bill O'Brien. Rookies, they don't know nothing.
I just like I didn't see what you'd sent. Otherwise, I would have come up with something. But yeah, I don't for defensive rookie. I don't know.
If you want to stain, that's fine.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter. I can't wait for Jacksonville to try to play him on offense and defense and break him.
Yeah, right.
Great. Offensive rookie of the year. Everybody wants to pick GT with the Raiders. I think they're going to run him into the ground. I'm a Travion fan, and I think that the Patriots are going to open things up for Travion in a way because they're going to be running the ball a lot, and he's looked legit in the preseason. I think the guy just got burst. That offense can just really, really send to another level. So if you're talking about the Patriots making a surprise wild card run this year, I think it's going to be because Travion is going to be offensive rookie of the year.
I like that pick a lot, but I'm picking Ashton G&T. I wanted him on my fantasy team really badly, and he got picked one person before me.
If he didn't go to the Raiders, I probably would have done that. I'm just waiting for the Raiders to ruin people.
But it's Pete Carroll, and I mean,
I know you got to get out of that.
His offensive scheme is tailor made for a guy like that. So I just
feel like we're going to hand the ball to him 30 times a game, and he's going to get so beat up, he's going to miss some games. So I think that might hold him back a little bit. No, I think G&T's awesome.
But he's young. I'm going to go with G&T too, because I like Pete Carroll, even though it's the Raiders. I don't know. Something might break out for him.
Oh, I mean, remember everybody said about the Texans, and D'Amico came in there and completely changed the culture. Maybe Pete Carroll's the guy to do that.
Maybe.
Hopefully Ben Johnson's the guy that can do that for the Bears. Or not hopefully. I mean, sorry, Brian. I didn't mean to have the opposite of the Bears.
I mean, they do have that. They do have.
You can turn it around if you make the right hire. It depends if ownership will let them really change the culture. That's how I feel. So I don't feel like Pete Carroll agrees to go there unless he's got the keys.
I mean, clearly the Raiders ownership has the best haircut in the NFL. So.
By the way, Tom Brady having like partial ownership or whatever it is. I saw him walking down the tunnel the other day in a Raiders jacket, and I just felt dirty. It just felt weird. I thought him in Bucks uniform looked bad, but the Raiders, it was like, what in the world is this?
Weird.
Terrible. Which, by the way, how does that work? Him having like partial ownership of a team and working for the NFL.
I don't know.
How does this work?
You would assume that there would be a conflict of interest, but I don't get it.
Greg Olson said, hell yeah, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a new topic that I thought of this year because we did talk about it last year. We didn't really talk about it this way. I think who's going to be the first coach fired this year? Let's end on a positive note here. First coach fired. Who's going to get paid to sit on a beach and sip margaritas and get paid millions of dollars a year? I don't feel bad for them. Who's going to be the first coach fired? I will go ahead and tell you guys the favorites right now. Mike McDaniel in Miami and Brian Daboll, New York Giants, are the two favorites. Are you sticking with one of the favorites, or are you going out with the first coach fired this year? So probably in season.
Shane Steichen, Indianapolis. Yeah.
Okay. In season.
Yeah.
They
do have the owner died, and the new owner is apparently she doesn't put up with much bullshit. So maybe.
He's got a great name, but New York is a tough place to keep a job when you're this bad. So it's going to be the Giants.
Yeah.
First one at the beach. Maybe Coney
I've got Daboll as well.
Yeah.
And I have a friend, a patron actually, who is a Giants fan. He told me, he's like, no, Daboll's safe because the owner's already said he wants him to be the one who mentors Jackson Dart's. Like, yeah, they'll say a lot of shit before the season starts. They'll say a lot of shit, and then the season starts and you're 1-7 and you have like one of the most embarrassing performances. You lose like 62-0 on national television, and they say, "Step out of this. We're done. We're done."
Someone has to take the bullet when that happens. So,
I mean, someone should have got fired for letting Saquon leave because Saquon wanted to stay there, and they didn't want to keep him. So someone needs to take the bullet for that, honestly. And I think maybe Daboll gets some of that, even though it should be the GM. Yeah, Mike McDaniel. It really depends on Tua. If Tua's healthy,
who's the guy in Tennessee? That's another hot spot too, isn't it?
God, I should know this since it's in
my conference. I don't see them being super strong.
Oh, like kind of my wild card was Canales in Carolina, just because their owner's a madman.
Oh yeah,
maybe Canales. Maybe not Zach, because I just feel like Cincinnati will keep their coach forever. I mean, what did Marvin Lewis get? Like what? 8 for like 10 years, and they kept them, so I don't think that would be one. But God, who is the coach of the Titans?
And I think even Stefanski is as bad as Stefanski is as bad as Cleveland.
Brian Callahan.
Oh yeah, it could be Callahan.
It depends with Cam. I think they give him at least 3 years, but I don't know. Amy Adams, the owner there, she's bonkers. As long as they get to wear those Houston Oilers colors against the Texans, though, she's happy. That's a winning season for her. Yeah, wear the Oilers colors against the Texans.
Very cool.
What are you laughing at, Brian? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Who's getting fired?
I agreed with you that it's the Giants, but I'm just looking at my wild card picks again, looking like God, if any of this is correct, I will be so happy.
No, that's good. I always feel like I'm just playing it safe with these picks. I do. I never pick anything shocking. And it's the NFL, we're going to have things that are like, I watched a thing this morning is where they use the AI predictability thing and they ran a simulation 1,000 times. And here's going to be all the week 1 games results. And you look at it, it's like, wow, what do you know? The computer predicted that the favorite in every single game was going to win. And we know as NFL fans, that never happens. You
right.
never have the favorite.
We'd all be rich at this point if we could just bet on all of that.
That's a piss poor model to use. So anyway, we'll see. We'll see. So obviously, guys, I wish the biggest success to everybody when they're not playing my team. Josh, you're in my conference, so I hope you're just 1 win below the Texans all season. That's how I go. I really hope that Aaron Rodgers works out for you, doesn't make you miserable. Because I don't hate him like the rest of the world does, but he's right there and just like, maybe it's time to hang him up, my man. Maybe it's time.
1 year. I hope it's a great farewell tour. It's his swan song, go out on top. And
I hope he nopes out in week 6 and like goes on some kind of retreat somewhere and just like leaves the team and they trade for Kirk.
Ayahuasca retreat. Yes.
They trade him for Kirk, or they just trade for Kirk. That's my hope, because I think that Kirk's got some ball left in him. Now that I know that he was hurt at the end of last year, because I thought it was Kirk's fell off. And now I watch the doctors like it was because the way he got hurt against the Saints, because at the Saints. So he got hurt and he was never the same after that. So I think he gets another shot. Like I said, I can't wait for him to get another $100 million contract somewhere. He's an MVP of all time when it comes to getting guaranteed money. Kirk Cousins has got some checks.
Best agent.
He's
done something right.
And Brian, I know your defense is going to be stout. I hope JJ is all that you guys hope and dream that he is, because you're not in my conference. I hope one of your wide receivers can, get out of jail long enough to play some football. And
Thielen, baby, we got you back. We got our insurance policy.
Thielen's back. That's awesome. And for myself, I do hope that the defense isn't just pissed at the offense, because it's like, bro, we're holding this team to 6 points and you can't score. Come on, man. Yeah, that's my hopes this year. So divisional round, baby, here we come. Can't wait.
There we go.
Excellent. So as always, thank you guys for joining us. I think that this is probably the better format going forward. We didn't have to hear Armin here talking about how great Patrick Mahomes is and Texas Tech is a superior university.
Exactly.
But hey, we miss them anyway. Maybe we'll have them for like a playoff preview.
Cool. Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
But guys, it's the best time of the year. I'm very excited. Who's y'all's college football teams? I know Josh is the Buckeyes. I'm the Bulldogs. Who are you, Brian?
Wisconsin. So yeah, because I went to Madison. So I was, and then my niece didn't get into Madison, and she went to the University of Minnesota, and I was so pissed off at the Badgers. I decided I am done with you, and I will be a Minnesota fan, because that's where both my nieces graduated from. So Minnesota, even though I can't stand our coach.
I'm glad to know that you don't hold grudges. This is very cool to know.
Yeah.
You don't do this.
My own alma mater. My own alma mater. I am done with you forever.
All right. Well, thank you guys for joining me and everyone for watching, and enjoy the season.
See you guys.